Let's first have a quiz. Someone in China ate a bat, and now people all over the world lost their jobs and toilet paper became a rare basic supply. Well, of course, I'm talking about the coronavirus. I know none of you wants to talk about it anymore, but it's a good example to describe the phenomenon of globalization. So, what even is globalization? Globalization is a never-ending worldwide process of integration in the areas economy, politics, and culture. Globalization brings a lot of positive and negative aspects. But let's start with the advantages. Means of transport, just as cars and planes, are accessible for everyone. Additionally, it is not that expensive. This means on the one hand, people are able to travel around, visit the world, and get to know different places, cultures, languages, and traditions. On the other hand, it makes the trade a lot easier and cheaper for companies. Also, organizations, just as UNICEF for example, have the possibility to visit people in developing countries to help them. And due to digitalization, protests can be organized better. But let's go back to the trade. Since planes and also ships are able to transport products around the world within a few days, we have an extensive goods offer and can buy a lot of very cheap Chinese electronic items. But globalization also has a lot of disadvantages. As I mentioned before, the coronavirus is one of them, because it could only spread like that due to globalization and traveling people. Speaking of traveling, the more people travel around, the more the diversity of languages, traditions, ways of lives, values and beliefs extinct. Also, companies compete, whereas they actually depend on each other. On top, companies and even whole states put profit above nature and send mountains of their trash to third world workers. Additionally, there even are companies that take African water to pack it in their plastic bottles and sell them in Europe. I don't want to name anyone, but maybe you know. Of course, this leads to water scarcity. And also a lot of other limited resources disappear due to global consumption. Further, of course, the CO2 level rises due to companies and traveling, and the climate crisis gets worse and worse. As you can see, we would be lost without globalization. Even though it has a lot of disadvantages, just as global consumption, water scarcity and climate crisis, there is a big benefit we get from it, looking at traveling, communication and technical progress.